Hello Saxo fans, welcome back. Episode 24. I've got a load of stuff on the floor here to show you, but that's for later in the episode. But for now, no chat, let's just get straight into it. Finally we're at a point where we can bolt stuff back onto the car. So suspension, brakes, steering column, brake servo, pedal assembly, all of that. Let's get it back on. Let's go for it. Right, this is all in. I had to have a little bit of a faff because these chassis supporting beams, these bars here, are now very much in the way. So the way I took things out before now isn't as easily accessible as it once was. So I had to split this in half again and put it back in, hence the little break. So I've now then since tried to put in my power steering rack, and I'm also having the same problem because this is in the way. I can't just simply slot it in place because of that. So what I've had to do is take off the power steering ram from underneath, and I'm going to attempt to fit it again, and you'll see how tight it is without it, and then try and fit the ram in situ, and that might be difficult, but it is my only option. So yeah, let's just get on with it. So much. No, that's fine. Right then folks, that's as far as I can take the suspension and putting all of that together. This side has gone together really nicely. Really happy with that. Nothing's tight yet. It's all just in for just to make sure everything fits together. And there's a good reason why we do that, because this wishbone, albeit brand new, I had the mounts and everything put on it, is about 10 to 15 degrees bent, I would say, because I can't get it into, I can bolt here into the car, but then I can't get the bolt through here, or if I put the bolt through here, these are so far out, it's ridiculous. So I've overlaid this with the one that's already fitted, and you can definitely see that one is bent. So it's a real shame, because that means I've got to get the mount off. I've already took the other bush out of there, that's easy. But yeah, I need to get the other mount off. So it's as far as I can go today. But needless to say, obviously lower arm there on that side, drop links in, steering arms in. So you'll see that I had to put the accelerator cable back in, and obviously the BE clutch cable goes in here. You have to do that because it sort of fits right in there. You can just see that little silver nub. That's essentially the clip. Obviously you need to do that before the rack goes in. So yeah, 4-port master cylinder is in. That's all good. So all I need to do really is get this new wishbone sorted. I'll just buy another one, I think, and then obviously everything else will just bolt in. So it's nice and easy. But yeah, I think we're starting to make good progress, and it's looking good. So the next thing really is to focus on some gearbox stuff. I am going to take out the sat shift brackets and have all that repowder coated, but yeah, there's no rush for that. So on to some gearbox stuff. Right then, gearbox fans, here we are, BE4 gearbox. Now I think you can get these on eBay, they're readily available. They're not particularly expensive, £150, £200 maybe. I think there's a few of them knocking about. They came on Picassos, Bilingos, that sort of thing. This is a 5-speed version. I think you can get them in 6-speed as well. The tricky thing with these is mounting them. I think that's probably the biggest headache you're going to have, really. So essentially what I've done here is I've laid out a big kit of parts that I've managed to accumulate over the past year. I'll talk you through them and what they're for and why you need them, in the hope that actually you won't be quite as confused as I was when I first started doing and thinking about doing a BE gearbox conversion. So obviously the reason I'm doing that is so it can handle more power. Obviously I'm going forced induction, and the MA boxes are only good to a certain point. So yeah, BE3 or BE4 gearbox. I've gone for a gripper plate diff to go in there. I might as well fit that while I've got the gearbox here. And young Sam has been very kind and generous to offer to rebuild this for me. So I've picked up a gearbox rebuild kit, so bearings and seals, and obviously we'll fit the plate diff at the same time. Obviously I'm going to get it all painted and do all the plating and everything on all the bolts, so it'll look all nice and shiny. Right, so mounting it. Let's touch on mounting first, because there's a few ways you can do this. Now there are obviously companies out there, AT Speed Racing, I think Saxo, maybe Spooks, and all those sorts of people all do mounting and BE conversion kits. And they'll all work, you know, there's no real issue with any of them, I don't think. Obviously I've not had direct experience of using them, but essentially I've pieced together a kit over, you know, a few months of scouring, you know, the forums and talking to the right people. So this is the way that I'm going to mount it, which I know I think will work at least. And obviously there are other ways, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'll talk you through what I've got. So obviously engine mount side was unchanged from a standard Saxo mount in this condition. Rear mount, so the one that goes in the back of the gearbox at the bottom and to the back of the bulkhead, essentially right at the bottom, is this one here. Now I got this from AT Speed Racing. This bit here bolts to the block. This bit here bolts to the original bracket on the car where the rear engine mount or rear gearbox mount would have gone. So no, there's nothing changing in terms of bracketry or welding or anything like that. That will bolt straight on, I'm told. We'll find out. And then secondly, this bracket here. So this is obviously just a normal mount for a Saxo. It's this particular bracket here that it's sitting on. That's what you need. This will mount to the top of the BE gearbox to allow a normal mount to be used, which will bolt to where the battery tray mount is on a Saxo. So essentially what I've tried to do is get it mounted in a way that the MA gearbox is mounted as well. So that's it mounted. Drive shafts is the next thing. Now these are expensive, you know, for a set of Satchel or Spooks or whatever ones they are. I think they're over £700, and you can see the difference. This rusty one at the back here is the original Saxo VTS one, MA gearbox. Yeah, again, you know, only good to a certain point. And these two black ones here are BE versions. I think the lengths are different, specifically perhaps on the longer one, because these two look the same. And obviously the shaft and spline diameter is far greater on the BEs, which obviously gives you the enable to take more power. So that's your shaft point. I got these off Adrian, thanks mate for those. So these aren't brand new. I bought these second hand, albeit had limited use. So you'll notice on a Saxo you have the centre bearing here for the longer shaft. Now for that to mount properly, you need this little bracket here. So this bolts onto the back of the engine block and supports that bearing here. Now this is a specific BE bracket, so you need to get one of these. Thankfully I got mine off Steve. He had another spare one knocking around, but again I don't think they're particularly rare. I think you could probably find them somewhere. So that's drive shafts mounted. Obviously with a bigger spline you need a different hub. I've obviously gone for BE hubs on my suspension struts, which you've already seen, so that's yeah, that's obviously bigger. Right, so then on to things like clutch. So this clutch cable is actually just a standard MA Saxo VTS one, because as you've just seen I've fitted the BE one already, but essentially you need a BE specific one. But they're not expensive. I think you can probably get these for sort of between £40 and £70 I think, for a brand new one, which is obviously what I've gone for. You also need this bracket here, which supports the little mounting point for the gearbox. So essentially this bolts to the gearbox and just supports the pull action of the cable. And then of course you need the right clutch fork, because most of these gearboxes are hydraulic push actuation of the clutch, where we need it to be cable pull. So this fork combined with this bracket combined with the right cable will mean you don't really have to change anything else clutch wise, so pretty straightforward. Obviously you need a probably different crank sensor, a slightly different design, but it takes the same plug that a Saxo harness does already, so that's straight fit onto the BE box and straight fit onto the harness, so that's nice and easy. And then lastly I've got a sat shift on my car. So these two black linkage arms here are the ones that would suit an MA gearbox. You can buy a little kit from Satchel that will convert your current sat shift to a BE version. So just change these two arms essentially, rather than buying a whole new sat shift, which I think is good. I think these are about £50 maybe for the two. But yeah, it'll enable my sat shift to not change, which is good. So that is everything that you would need, I think, to essentially get your BE gearbox mounted and be able to turn the wheels over and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, clutch actuation working as per normal, and obviously clutch choices, there are many. So I think that's about it. The next thing that I will be doing is getting this mount here fitted to the gearbox. Now from memory, talking to a few people, you have to just trim down these two little towers here to enable all three bolt positions to be level. Sorry, how can I show you? These two tower points here have to be trimmed down to enable a flat position of the bracket. Otherwise, you'll have two points that are slightly higher than the third. So that's easy. So I'll show you that when I do it. But essentially, that's pretty much it. So the plan is really to get all of this in the car without an engine attached to it, and actually working and changing gear and turning over by hand, and make sure that it all works, so that when I do it, obviously for the final time, I know that everything will work. That's the plan. But yeah, that's for another day, so we'll leave it there for now. Okay then, that's it for this episode. Hopefully everything that I just showed you made sense. By no means is it the only way to do it. I'm sure everybody out there has got their own opinion, and if there's something I missed, then please do drop a comment in. Yeah, that's about it for now then. So please do hit the subscribe button. It really does help, and it keeps me motivated to actually keep making these videos for you. And yeah, next episode we're actually going to get this gearbox fitted into the car before it all gets stripped apart and painted and cleaned and everything. So anyway, so that's all for now. We'll see you again next time.